What's up, baseball world, and welcome along to the first ever Jays Talk with Jay. That's right, I'm Jay, I'm your host, and we are talking all things Blue Jays. Now, before we start, I thought about putting this together in a way where it was maybe edited quite a lot, and I just thought it wasn't right. I thought it was best to kind of do this as natural as possible. Yes, I'm going to edit it. Yes, there's going to be some little changes, going to be some cool graphics, possibly over here, but we'll see what happens. So the real question is why the Jays? Why is there a guy from the UK talking about Canadian baseball team? It's pretty simple. Went to go and see my first game in 1986 at the old Exhibition Centre. Saw the Jays play against the White Sox, a game in which they lost 4-3. Kind of went from there, really. Ended up following the games, following the scores. Quite difficult back then. There was no internet and TV coverage in the UK. It was next to zero. I used to literally read a little scores results in the newspaper to find out the scores. It was difficult, but I stuck with it. And then obviously as we got to the mid 90s, late 90s, they started showing games over here on a regular basis, and I've always followed. I've been backwards and forwards to Canada so many times now. I've seen a lot of games. My real love started round about 2000, maybe 2001, where I really started getting into it, and obviously it was easier to watch a lot of games. Obviously everyone remembers the back-to-back World Series titles in the 90s, and I was lucky enough to be in Canada for the first one. It's a sport I've always enjoyed. Like I say, after going to my first game, I would have only been maybe 9 or 10 years old, and it was an experience, definitely much different to the sports over here in the UK. I'm a big football fan, soccer fan, whatever you want to call it, and yeah, totally different atmosphere, totally different kind of game as well, and it felt right. I like I say, I enjoyed it. I've been to plenty games. When I come to Canada, I end up going with my cousin quite a bit. But yeah, I follow them religiously. Obviously, everyone remembers 15-16, not too long ago. Real excitement. First time we felt that kind of excitement for a very, very long time. And that's really basically in a nutshell why. Who am I? Well, basically, I'm a record producer, music producer, and a DJ from the UK. I've been doing that since the mid-90s, a long time now. My DJing career's come into a bit of an end. I've played in some huge nightclubs all over the place. It's what I did for a living. I wanted to get my teeth into something where I really felt like, yes, this is something I can do, and I can maybe bring something with a different perspective being in the UK. Now, you're probably sitting here thinking, this is kind of boring already. I promise you, I am kind of quite funny. Funny looking, but my humour's a little bit different. You'll either like this or you won't like it. I'm in my 40s, I'm married, I have a daughter, a dog who you've seen, a cat as well. So there's a little bit about me, a little bit of inside info. I'm sure you'll see them all at some point. If you're watching this over on the tube. So what are our expectations? I thought I wanted to get this quick video in before the season starts, and I'm hoping that we get another one in just before the season starts where we can look at pre-season totally. But in regards to expectations this year, I think a lot of it's going to be based on how the young guys do. Obviously, we made the playoffs last year. It was an expanded playoff season, so it's difficult to really say where we are. However, I think the addition of Springer is huge. I think him leading off is going to make a massive difference. And then you've got the young guys, the core guys. I think Vladdy is going to have a breakout season. I think he's definitely going to add some more pop with his bat this year. Last year, I don't want to say he was disappointing, but again, it was only a small sample size. Biggio, Bichette, I think are going to end up being all-star players. They both have something about them that says. And then Teoscar is going to have a good season again, I think. And then you've got the other players there, but I think expectations-wise, as we move forward, can they make the playoffs? I'm pretty sure that they'll be there or thereabouts. It depends on the other teams, really. The Yankees will be strong as always. The Red Sox can't be as bad as they were last year. And Tampa Bay are always there or thereabouts as well. So I think playoffs is what we need to be aiming for. In regards to can they win it? I think they have just as good a chance as anyone else. It really depends on the pitching, but as we've seen during spring training already, the pitching looks like it could be stronger than we thought it was, but you have to be a little bit optimistic. Small sample size. Spring training is nothing like once the season gets started, so it's difficult to really say, but at the moment it's looking promising. And I think that as we go on, if the front office feel like they need to add something, I think that they will. They've shown that they're not scared to spend the money. I think everyone was like, they don't want to spend, this team's never going to do anything, we're never going to build. But the reality is that they have moved in a direction where now they're like, do you know what, this team can compete. And not only can they compete for a numerous amount of years. This isn't a short-term game. This isn't 1 season, 2 seasons, all or nothing. The guys, all the young kids, they're all tied down to contracts that they're going to be with us 4 or 5 years, maybe longer. Who knows? But I've got a feeling that the front office are now pushing and they want to create something big here. And you have to give credit to Shapiro and Atkins. They've done what they set out to do, and now's the time. The players have to come through. I think Montoya, I think he's the right person for the job. I think he can lead this team, and I think we will see in the first month or so whether this team can live up to the expectations that have been put on their shoulders. And I think rightly so. I think they did well enough last year to turn around and go, hey, look at us, we're the young kids on the block, but we can compete. And I think that's the biggest, most important thing. Crap, I need my notes. Obviously, the expectations will be laid on certain people's shoulders. I think Springer, it goes without saying, really. He is probably going to end up being lead off. Can't see it working out anyway, unless he doesn't perform. But I think already he's shown that when he leads off, he leads by example, and I think he is going to be the catalyst of everything that happens this season. There's something about him, and I can't quite put my finger on it yet, and we'll touch base on this again, hopefully in a few weeks' time once the season gets started. But there's something about him that makes teams tick, and I think we're going to see that. I think you can't rule out Teoscar with the amount of home runs he hit last season. I think if he has a similar kind of season, he is going to possibly be our biggest power hitter. Other than Vladdy, I think Vladdy is going to make some waves. He just looks leaner, he looks sharper, he looks faster, and dying there. I think you can't rule out Vladdy. Vladdy, he looks leaner, he looks sharper, he looks faster. I think all round as a package, Vladdy, I don't want to say MVP because it's probably a bit too early in his career for that, but I think he's going to have it. Whether he can do that defensively or not remains to be seen. But I think that with Vladdy with there, and then I think that we also need to be looking at Bo and Kevin as well. I think if those two can click and they can actually keep the momentum going from the last 2 seasons, then I think that we're in with a good chance. So I think my ones to watch are Springer, Vladdy, Biggio, Bichette, Teoscar. On a pitching front, if Nate Pearson can stay fit, can stay healthy, I think we have an ace there. Ryu, it goes without saying. I think he'll do what he's been brought in to do, and he will be consistent. And then it's about the bullpen. I think the bullpen is there. It's there or thereabouts. But we won't talk too much about the bullpen just yet because I'm not sure how that's going to pan out. I think with the other starters, we've seen some really, really good pitching over the last few days. And the pitching might be better than we thought it was. Again, we'll see, but I think that's where it is. So this isn't going to just be about me talking. I want you, the public, I want you to get involved. This is your team. I want you to hit me up with questions, we want to keep this as real and as genuine as possible. So hit me up. You can message me on Instagram, you can message me on Twitter, you can write in the comments, you can basically ask anything and we will address it as a group, and hopefully we can answer some questions that you feel need answering. I have my own views on certain things. It might not necessarily be right, but what we will do is we will always try and stick to the facts. So it won't be hearsay. We can't just say he's crap because he's crap, or he's amazing because he's amazing. We have to back all of this stuff up, and I think we can do that, and we can actually grow this. So moving forward, like I said before, I think what we'll do is we will try and get a episode in before spring training ends. It's like a couple of weeks away, and then we'll start going, and I'm going to hopefully try and do 2 or 3 videos per week, trying to cover everything that's happened. Now hopefully it's all going to be positive stuff, but let's face it, we're Jays fans, right? And we've been there before, so it might not always be bells and whistles, and there's going to be a lot of arguing, there's going to be a lot of shouting, and I'm likely to get animated, especially when things go wrong. But as we move forward, hopefully there'll be more of this, and that I can post these on a more regular things. Once I get some kind of structure down, we'll get it down, and then we'll know exactly when these podcasts are coming out. I'm hoping that they're going to be around about 15 to 20 minutes each one, but they could be longer, they could be shorter, depending what happens. We could end up with double headers. Obviously, we still have to be wary of the COVID situation and whether games get cancelled or postponed or delayed. We don't know. I think that we have to wait and see. However, I'm really excited to be doing this. I'm really excited to be talking to you, the viewers, and hopefully we can grow a little family here. So if you are listening on any of the other podcast services, please spread the love. Let them know Jay's Talk with Jay is here, and it's here to stay. Guys, I will catch you hopefully in a few days' time, and we will talk more Blue Jays baseball with Jay.